Many thanks for joining us on News Hour 2. My name is Sani Abdurrahman. In this package, we'll be telling you the very latest on the labor front as they call for a review of the single spine pay policy. And also, we are learning that the COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in an increase of some mental issues across the country. But we start with the labor issue because delegates at the Maiden National Labor Conference have called for a review of the single spine pay policy to address the inequalities in the public sector wages. The two-day conference held at Kuru in Kwitia in the Eastern region discussed issues including the state of the economy, conditions of service of public sector workers, public sector salaries, labor productivity, among others. The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, who closed the session, said the ravages of the COVID-19 pandemic has caused fiscal constraints on the part of government, urging labor unions not to take entrenched positions in their demands.
On improving the public sector efficiency, rationalizing public expenditure, enhancing internal revenue mobilization, deepening the country's digital footprint, and supporting the growth of the private sector. I wish to reiterate and assure you all of the overarching objective of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government to build a modern, prosperous, and private sector-led economy anchored on the vision of a Ghana beyond aid. We haven't abandoned that vision. This includes the pursuit of a stable macroeconomy, inclusive transformation and formalization of the economy by leveraging technology.
Now, as part of their demand for a review of the single spine pay policy, the delegates proposed the setting up of a technical committee by the end of March 2022 to examine the policy and its cost implications more than 10 years after its implementation. This was contained in a communique adopted at the end of the conference organized by the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations and its tripartite partners. Now, joining us for more on this subject is a labor expert, Mr. Austin Game. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. First of all, the single spine pay policy was introduced to regulate the payment of public service worker salaries while guaranteeing better public sector pay. Has it served this purpose more than 10 years after its implementation?
Thank you. Thank you. It could have served its full purpose, but I've said it before, and I don't regret saying it at that time. And let me repeat it. I think it was poorly administered that created the kind of situation in which we find ourselves now. So it's good if they want to have a kind of review, but genuinely, to be honest with you, it's just poorly administered, and that is it.
When you say poorly administered, what do you mean exactly?
Everything about the single spine was to be based on how we have profited in the Labour Act, and the policy itself to drive it. Unfortunately, the way it was structured and also the personnel that handled it left so much gap in between, and that has brought about the disenchantment between and among the beneficiaries. And since it was done, a lot of re-evaluation that's supposed to be done never saw daylight. And because the people who are managing it, maybe they are not fully in bed with federal administration and the sensitivity of it, taking into consideration what the law enjoins us to do, because you don't pay people just for the sake of appearing in business. You have to pay people based on something. And I guess every institution that benefits from that has certain guidelines that they have to follow. And do we follow it? I can say no.
Well,
those who are following it are following half-heartedly. So if they have to review and support, it has to be done well, not just some academic approach to it. It has to be done professionally and not just based upon somebody's feeling and political wish. It has to be for Ghana.
Now, since the implementation of this policy, we've seen the salaries of public sector workers going up on the average, at least in the last decade, by a little over 12%. And you still hold the view the policy has not served its purpose when there's been some level of increase?
It's not about increase. It's about managing it professionally in a manner that will not elicit the kind of situation we find ourselves in now. Why the call for its review? Not because we don't have the policy, not because we don't have the law, but I can say authoritatively that we simply are not implementing it in tandem with what the law enjoins us to do. Because employers are enjoined, including the public sector people, to set targets for people and to ensure that there is a way of evaluating everybody's job, not by looking at people's faces. It's a policy that must be properly written and people trained and educated and guided as to how it will be implemented. And simple re-evaluation of jobs because of change in knowledge, of technology advancement, and of decoupling and coupling of jobs has never been right. And so obviously there will be some drawbacks. And who says we should be increasing pay for everybody across the board? Is everybody operating at the same level? Certainly not. But we have jumbled the whole thing, and everybody is being paid a 10% or 12% across the board. I mean, it's not proper. So if they have to do it, then we have to sit down properly and look at all the nitty-gritties and what the law says, so that we don't just go doing any academic stuff again.
Well, thank you so much for your time, sir, this afternoon. Mr. Austin Game is a labor analyst and has been helping us to appreciate issues surrounding the single spine pay policy, because there have been calls from the labor front for government to examine the policy. In some of the day's other events, Ghana has launched a national ASEA center at the Kotoka International Airport. The National Center will monitor and provide real-time data on gold export and ensure accountability and transparency. The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, said with the center to test the purity of these precious minerals, Ghana will now get the real revenue from its gold and other mineral exports.
Saying is necessary to make sure that any minted gold meets the required purity standards and content. For players, understanding gold grades and gold purity through accurate gold assaying is key to profitable gold mining, gold refining, and gold bullion products production. Prior to 2018, obtaining real-time data on gold exports in the country was difficult. But according to the Precious Mineral Marketing Company, PMMC, since the introduction of the National ASEA, the country has up-to-date data of millions of gold exported. The National ASEA is to ensure transparency, accountability, and increase revenue mobilization from the country's natural resources. It gives live detail of the ounces of gold exported, the value, the amount of tax generated from it, and the destination country. The managing director of PMMC, Nana Kwesi Ewua, said the national assessor will help check all gold exports, cut fraud, and promote efficiency.
Since the commencement of the National Assay Program till date, PMMC has been able to assay a total weight of gold of about 18 million ounces at an estimated total value of USD $27 billion. Out of this figure, the ASM sector accounted for about 6.6 million ounces, valued at $9.2 billion, representing about 40%, while the large-scale sector accounted for 11.3 million ounces, valued at $17.9 billion.
The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Jinapo, outlining the digitization processes in the natural resources sector, said the National Gold Refinery is ready.
This refinery is timely as the Bank of Ghana commences the purchase of gold domestically to shore up its reserves and contribute to the retention of the value of our mineral resources. Working with the Ministry of Finance and other stakeholders, we have also initiated the processes of securing a London Bullion Market Association LBMA certification to enable us easily export and trade our refined gold on the international market.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, said the digitalization of the national assayer is to help governments independently to verify all gold earmarked for export and help the country to get the actual value of its natural resources.
Digitalization has now made it possible to generate assay certificates which have unique security features. These unique features will make the certificates difficult to forge by gold scammers to facilitate their dubious schemes. Digitalization has also now made it possible to monitor in real time gold exports passing through the assay laboratory.
Christened digitalization, revenue assurance for enhanced transparency in natural resources value chain, it is believed that the country can now keep track of the exact amount of her gold exports.
Let's talk about something which is very important in life. I'm referring to water, because the Aveimi Water Project in the Volta region is being funded by the Danida Sustainable Infrastructure Finance. The project is expected to be completed within 36 months after commencement of works, and it will provide water to 1.2 million people in the eastern part of Accra. A delegation from Aarhus, Denmark, has therefore toured some project sites and other facilities in the Tema metropolis of the Greater Accra region. A report by Oforiwa Dako.
The Tema booster station is fed by high lift pumps from the Pong New Works. There, a 1,050mm pipeline into 3 terminal reservoirs. Areas served by the Tema booster station include Tema Township, Ashaiman, Pong, and its immediate surroundings. The delegation from Aarhus municipality in Denmark toured the facility to inspect ongoing activities within the strategic sector cooperation partnership between Tema and Aarhus, Denmark. The regional director of the Ghana Water Company, Mr. Abraham J. Kwartin, said the booster station has benefited thousands of people in the Tema metropolis. There were also updates on the Aveime Water Project.
The next step is that DSIF will issue requests for proposals to enable the consultant to undertake the feasibility studies for the project.
Stops were made at a wastewater treatment plant and other centers where 3 pilot areas for wastewater are being managed in the Tema metropolis. An app has been developed by a Danish company to register all households connected to the C1 network and those that are yet to be connected to the system to help manage wastewater within Tema and its environs.
You can just take out the app and mark a spot, to tell it what kind of point it is, and enter a lot of attribute details about the actual component or system.
The delegation also toured a densely populated area at Site 2 Square, Hortugong, in Tema. Site 2 is strategically situated in the center of Tema and is among communities to benefit from the Aveime water system.
This is a place where we have decided to work, where we've found cooperation partners that are strong and able to work closely together with us and create this really, and that's a meaningful word, really strong partnership.
Ghana faces a number of challenges in stable water delivery, non-revenue water and wastewater treatment. However, it is hoped that the deployment of Danish technology will go a long way to make a difference. For GBC News, Ofoyiwa Darko report.
We stay a while on this subject because the city of Aarhus in Denmark, the Tema Metropolitan Assembly and the Ghana Water Company have signed a memorandum of understanding for the commencement of the second phase of the strategic sector cooperation. This project, which spans 3 years from 2023 to 2025, is designed to ensure sustainable water supply for inhabitants and businesses in Tema, as well as reduce environmental pollution through improved collection and treatment of wastewater. Oforuwa Dako again has more.
The delegation from Aarhus in Denmark, which includes representatives from Danida Sustainable Infrastructure Finance, was led by the managing director of Aarhus Municipality in Denmark, Mr. Henrik Seiden. At a meeting at the Tema Metropolitan Assembly, Mr. Henrik Seiden spoke about Denmark's new development strategy with focus on improved access to drinking water and improved quality of life in fast-growing urban areas in the Greater Accra region, especially the Tema Municipality.
With the challenges that we see in terms of increased urbanization, in terms of climate change, that both of our cities are facing. So the partnership that we see with Ghana Water and Aarhus Water, where we work to reduce non-revenue water while providing a high-quality urban water service to improve good living conditions and to protect the environment, is also important on the broader scale.
The Danish government has the aim to deliver improved access to drinking water to 5.8 million people in Africa, the same number as the total number of inhabitants in Denmark. At a ceremony to acknowledge the gains made so far in the Tema municipality through the Strategic Sector Cooperation Program by the Danish government, the mayor of the Tema Metropolitan Assembly, Mr. Johanni Amar Ashiti, said that the introduction of Danish solutions to Tema is helping to address infrastructure challenges in the area.
Whilst reassuring Denmark of our commitment to public and private sector presence and cooperation in Tema, with great benefits to the long-term partnership and collection action with a dedicated decision support system to achieve a higher degree of certainty in social practices.
Denmark's partnerships and commercial activities in Ghana's water sector stand on the strong foundation of decades of development aid to the sector. Over the years, Danida has spent more than $160 million contributing to improve the water sector, focusing on partnerships and expanding the commercial collaboration. For GBC News, Ofoyiwa Darko reporting.
More stories making headlines as the Central Region prepares to host this year's 65th Independence Anniversary celebration. There have been calls for the government and other stakeholders to renovate the first ever basic school to be established in the country in West Africa, the Philip Kweku Boys, in 1765. This should be in recognition towards the role Cape Coast as a city played and continue to do in area of education in the country. Central Regional Correspondent Kingsley Nanabwedu has been out and about in Cape Coast and joins us on phone with more details as to how the region is preparing for this celebration. Kingsley, what have you been gathering regarding the preparation of the region and residents ahead of the independence anniversary?
Well, thank you very much, Sani. Like you already indicated, well, the ancient capital is indeed ready to host Ghana, and Ghana meaning the 65th independence anniversary, which is being hosted here in Cape Coast. I must say that right from last weekend throughout this week, there have been a series of activities that have been held here, of course, in preparation and readiness for the big event on Sunday. Right from Saturday, Friday, Saturday, there was a major cleanup across the city. And the Saturday, there was a health walk just to sensitize and creep up the interest of the people in the city with regards to the big event Sunday, which is the 65th anniversary. As I speak with you just today, we have been visiting some historic sites and, of course, facilities in the Cape Coast, that's the regional capital. We've been to Philippeku Boys, and we've been to Jubilee School, and these are some of the major and ancient schools, of course, Central Region and Cape Coast have produced, and the number of prominent people have also come out from this school. But if you want to focus on Philippeku Boys, for instance, this is a school that was established in 1765. Of course, it was a castle school, so our colonial masters, the governors, the mulattoes, the merchants during the colonial era, they were training their children at the castle. So one of the citizens of Cape Coast who happened to be Philippeku also benefited from that. It is the first basic school in Africa, West Africa, and Ghana in general. So the people of Cape Coast are saying that if they've had the opportunity hosting this 65th independence anniversary, then indeed, government and stakeholders that be should innovate this facility that you are seeing, which is still being in use, as a gift for the people of Central Region and Cape Coast, and of course the role Cape Coast has played in the citadel of education issues and in education in general. Because this is what is happening here. When we talk about Cape Coast, we're talking about everything being starting here, but indeed it doesn't really end well at the end of it. So this is the plea of the people.
Indeed, a genuine plea the people are making. But fast forward, how are businesses preparing for this celebration? Of course, hotels, eateries, and a lot of tourist attractions people will want to visit. How are they preparing for this potentially huge traffic?
They've been poised, waiting for this day. As I speak with you, yesterday there was an investment forum looking at the business side of the opportunity the region had gotten. And they had to highlight, especially to the diasporians and the many other people that have already been in the region, scouting, maybe the possibility of doing some business and so on and so forth. So we told them the investment potential in the region. Okay. Businessmen, when you visit the hoteliers, they are also poised and very ready to ensure that people that come, they get a good place to stay. Businesses are also taking advantage. We've cleaned the city. So it has been a very beautiful city if you come to Cape Coast right now for tourism purposes.
Kingsley, very finally, in terms of COVID-19 protocols, what have you been gathering from the planning committee? Of course, we are still battling COVID-19, and there is the need for people to adhere to the protocols.
Exactly so. The event will take place at the new sports stadium, and indeed there will be Veronica buckets and other facilities along the places. It will be open to all, so the public are encouraged to put on their nose masks, mouth masks, or whatever it is before they enter the stadium. I know there's a lot of arrangement that they are going to make sure. I was at the stadium this afternoon, and the preparation is just marvelous. We are not allowed to probably let our viewers see what is happening. We want them to come and watch exactly what will happen on Sunday. So we will not show them now. But everything is fantastic. They put in place a certain mechanism that will ensure that, of course, the COVID window is there. We can stay with it and have a beautiful and a good event on Sunday.
Kingsley Nanabuedu, our Central Region correspondent, has been giving us more details as to how the Central Region is preparing for this year's independence celebration. Of course, in some weeks to come, Ghana will be facing Nigeria in Cape Coast. I don't know if it's a coincidence that authorities have decided to host the event also there to boost the morale of the Black Stars. We await to see what happens. But in some of the data, the stories, social isolation, economic stress, loss of loved ones, and other struggles during the COVID-19 pandemic have contributed to rising mental health issues like anxiety and depression. Studies around the world have shown that people who recover from COVID-19 have an increased risk of developing a variety of mental health outcomes, such as mood disorders, substance use disorders, and neurocognitive disorders within 1 year after the acute infection. With more people getting infected every day, it is necessary for mental health services to be more available and accessible to everyone. And to help achieve that, a training in mental health and psychological support is currently underway at Kintampo in the Bono East region. Correspondent Samuel Ayama has been monitoring the training and joins us live with some more details from the event. Samuel, if you can hear me, what have you been gathering regarding this very important subject?
Thank you very much, Sani. The training workshop is currently underway. It's about the mental health and then some psychosocial support. And as we speak, we are still going on with the training. And with me here is one of the facilitators who would like to tell us more about the training exercise that is currently ongoing. Madam, tell us your name and then tell us why we are here.
So my name is Dr. Adjoa Kisitre. I'm a psychiatrist, and this is a training by the Ghana Health Service and WHO. This is a training by the Ghana Health Service and WHO on the provision of mental health psychosocial support. These are particularly for emergency responders, those who are first to arrive at the scene of any emergency situation to offer assistance and care to victims of the emergency situation. So we know that as a country, as individuals, as communities, we encounter different emergency situations. There are road traffic accidents all the time. There are infectious outbreaks. The one we are recently battling with is the COVID-19 infection, which is a pandemic that has affected all countries in the world. So with emergency responders, the security forces, health professionals, even school education, social workers, they do very well with helping people with the physical or medical complications of emergencies. And we find that over the years, there hasn't been support. Very recently, there was an explosion, a Piatti Bogoso explosion. Many of the time, these emergency responders arrive at the scene and they offer physical assistance, but oftentimes there is the mental health aspect which is missing. Meanwhile, emergency situations causes a lot of mental health issues immediately in the short term and in the long term. People having a lot of distress, people grieving because of different losses, either their personal belongings or property, they lose loved ones, they lose livelihoods and jobs. People actually start using alcohol and other substances. So there are lots of mental health implications of emergency situations. Okay. We cannot even talk about the socio-economic impacts and all of that.
Okay. So now, what will be your expectations after this from fans?
So my expectation is that we can train emergency responders. We are increasing their competence and building their capacity to be able to train other emergency responders and also in their own practice offer mental health psychosocial support. They don't need a specialized kind of training to do this, but just simple training like we are doing now can actually increase their capacity, their knowledge and their competence to be able to offer mental health psychosocial support to victims in emergency situations.
I say one critical issue that is facing this fight we are talking about is the psychotropic drugs. Yes. How will you describe it now?
So over the years, some regions have complained about the fact that they have not had access, mainly are medicated, so antipsychotic, antidepressants that are used in the management of mental illness. And they are really important. Currently, there was a lot that was the governments can actually look at
to be our friend in the Bono East region, but correspondent Samuel Ayama has been engaging authorities there on the issue. Samuel is back.
And be able to improve their well-being.
So your final words to those who are into this fight?
So my final words is that when it comes to mental health psychosocial support, it is a collective responsibility. And when we come together, we can achieve this. So we all need to support mental health and make a difference wherever we find ourselves. That would be my final.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sani, we are still monitoring the whole training that is ongoing here, and then we will keep our viewers updated and then come with a full report on whatever that will transpire here. For GBC News, Samuel Ayama, Kintampo, Bono East.
Now, 250 security personnel from across the country will benefit from a two-day training on basic principles of insurance, insurance policies, and types of insurance. This was disclosed by the National Insurance Commission at the launch of an insurance literacy program for cadet officers and recruits of the Ghana Prison Service in Accra.
The National Insurance Commission, NIC, launched a broad insurance literacy program for all officers in the security agencies in the country, the aim of creating insurance awareness and to develop an interest in an insurance career. The latest to benefit is the prison service. The NIC says the number of working Ghanaians who have one form of insurance or the other is pegged at 44.6% as at the end of 2020. This is an increase of 14.6% over the 2019 figure. The practice and process of insurance is constantly changing in Ghana. Innovation and digitization have contributed to the change. At the launch of the Insurance Literacy Program in Accra, Dr. Justice Ofori said the NIC is on course to ensure that it builds a stronger industry, creates employment, and protects the policyholder.
The risks your officers are exposed to on a daily basis are quite known. This training will be the first learning encounter with insurance for most of the cadet officers and recruits. It is our desire that interest in insurance as a career will be generated at the end of two-day training.
The training will be done by Ghana Insurance College. The director of the college, Mr. Richard Otri, urged the participants to fully engage the resource persons. The Director General of the Ghana Prison Service, Mr. Isaac Edri, said an informed appreciation of insurance will help every prison officer to mitigate the effect of some of life's mishaps.
We, as a service, look forward to enjoying more avenues of collaboration that will make our officers more knowledgeable about insurance and to put them in a better position to benefit from the various types of insurance in our time.
The NIC has for some time now championed the training of all categories of persons as part of the Commission's mandate of making everyone conscious about the needs and benefits of insurance.
We go to the northern region, where the region has recorded over 80 fire outbreaks between January and February this year. A significant number of the fire disasters were domestic outbreaks in some homes in Tamale, while a number of market stalls have also suffered similar disasters. Properties running into thousands of Ghana cedis have been destroyed in the process. Correspondent Murtala Isa joins us on the line with some more details on this worrying development. Murtala, if you can hear me, what have been causing this fire incident in the region? Quite disturbing if you look at the statistics.
Quite disturbing, and as I speak to you now, we are heading to almost 100 because the 80 figure was given to us at the beginning of February. And the fire service have been telling us that since then we've experienced other fire outbreaks, including one that occurred just last week at Kuku, burning a boutique and a number of rooms within a given household. Now, the factors that have been given for the causes of these fire outbreaks, mostly they have identified negligence on the part of homeowners and shop owners. Sometimes someone plugs in an iron or a heater, the light goes off, they don't switch off the socket and go home. When the light comes on, this becomes a problem, it triggers fire, and then the whole place gets burned. The fire service have also been telling us that they've noted that there's poor wiring or unprofessional wiring in some homes and even in some stores, and these have also contributed to this development. You are also aware that we are in the Harmattan season with the dryness and the windy conditions. These also help with the spread of fire. So these are some of the factors that have been identified to be major factors that are causing the fire outbreaks in the region.
Murtala, it appears almost all the causes are kind of human triggered, and I was wondering what the authorities have been doing in sensitizing the people to become more abreast with issues of handling such situations so that these incidents can reduce.
I'm aware of a number of programs on radio stations within Tamale, including on Radio Savannah, where there is sensitization. Every time there's an opportunity on TV and other media platforms, they also sensitize the public and educate them to engage the services of professional electricians to wire their houses. The VRA, NEDCO, I'm aware, have also been carrying out this, urging the public to engage their certified technicians to wire their houses for them. While the fire service have also been telling people to be careful during the dry season when they are dealing with fire. So sensitization has been going on, but this has not so far transformed the situation.
Murtala, thank you so much for your time this afternoon and bringing us up to speed on the latest developments in the northern region. Now, 4 children have been confirmed dead after drowning in the Volta Lake at Konkoma, a suburb of Fiji, in the Pro East district of the Bono East region. The deceased had been reported missing on Monday, February 28, 2022. According to the Pro East District Police Commander, DSP Eric, who is also in charge of Pro West District, he said on arrival at the scene, the bodies of the 4 children were found lying in a position with blood oozing from their nostrils. DSP said police inspected the bodies but found no marks of violence on them. Investigations have begun to unravel the circumstances that led the 4 children to drown in the Volta Lake. The police say the bodies have since been deposited at the St. Matthias Catholic Hospital mortuary at Yeji for preservation and autopsy. That's it for the local segment. Stay with us because when we return from this break, Maurice Ogbeti will be telling you the very latest from the world of business.
Good afternoon. We bring you some business updates now. My name is Morris. Now, the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association says lack of access to financing to cater for green projects, also known as green buildings, is undermining the country's transition to eco-friendly infrastructure. Now, despite the environmental benefit of green buildings, attracting funding remains a major hurdle to players in the construction industry. The Executive Secretary of GREDA, Mr. Samuel Ameganyibo, has therefore called for tailored financial products to help bridge the financing gap.
And we haven't embraced it fully. There are several contributing factors to that, and especially with residential building development, which is where my people are. The problem has always been with costs. So I remember Energy Commission had a discussion with us some time ago to see how best residential properties can adopt green. And it has always been the issue of cost, because the analysis was that a typical residential building would need additional 10% of the unit cost to get into green, to get the basic green features on the building. And this was a bit of a problem, because if you understand how most of the finances take place in Ghana, especially those who buy houses through mortgages, it was becoming difficult because the unit cost alone was preventing so many people from qualifying from the mortgage products that they had. So additional 10% was pushing a lot of people out of the qualifying criterion. And so it was a disincentive for most people. So what we agreed on at that time was that we will separate the green application from the actual cost of the building, so that banks can find some funding for people who want, so that become like optional. You buy the units without the green, but then they make a arrangement for you to add on the green features, and so if you can afford it. And so that's what we agreed on. But we're also looking at incentives at that time to bring on board to make it attractive for a lot of people. For Ghana, it is cost. But if you look at the technology, it has a long-term benefit, which people must appreciate.
And Ghana has the capacity to create over 100,000 new jobs through waste recycling by 2025. That's according to the Director of International Engagement at the Recirculate Project, Professor Kek Semple. He has been speaking at the 2022 Recirculate Ghana Conference in Accra.
The challenges in communities, particularly low-income communities, around contaminated water from human waste, we would collect that, take it out of the low-income community, the risk, and use that to produce bioenergy in the form of methane gas. Now, methane gas is combustible, so you can light it, but you can also produce power from it in the form of electricity, which you can use for lighting, heating, cooking, and so on. So that's essentially what the science and technology was about, but there are also issues around business development and entrepreneurial thinking. And that's been really important for today's meeting and yesterday's meeting, but also in terms of how the project survives beyond the period of funding. So by introducing business and entrepreneurial thinking, we can continue to do the good work.
And still talking about the environment, Ghana is set to play an active role on the global carbon trading market from June this year. The move, which was announced by the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Abujinapo, aims at limiting climate change by creating a market with limited allowances for emissions.
Also, to pilot the concept of carbon trading with corporate Ghana with the 2022 edition of Green Ghana. All of us, from all walks of life, must come together and help build a Green Ghana. The support we are receiving since the tragic incident at Apieti in the Western region is sufficient proof, if any were needed, that we can pool resources together to build the Green Ghana we want by ourselves.
And the price of crude oil continues to rise on the international market. Today, it's going for $108.50 a barrel. Gold increased by $8.10 to close trading at $1,935.12. However, cocoa and maintain its value to sell at $2,483 per ton. National news is after this break.